Volvo shouldn't do this. The seatbelt pulling me in like a crazy thing. Oh, can you get out the car? Or are you now my prisoner forever? Accidentally run over someone else's child. That'd be a bit awkward, wouldn't it? I blooming love the Volvo XC60. I actually had one for 6 months in the early days of this channel back in 2017. But have things changed or evolved enough? Or is it time that one of us retired? That'd be the end of our beautiful relationship, Lewis. What do you mean? What's going on? Did you see it float out? Since it came out, this car's been facelifted more times than Simon Cowell. As you can see from my wrinkles, I haven't at all. But underneath, it's pretty much exactly the same as it ever was. So the question is it actually time for some new blood? Or is there still life in the old dog yet? I need to investigate if Volvo's finally perfected the XC60 or whether it's hanging on life support. To do that, I'm going to uncover what really is new. Nick, come in. What's actually the same? Volvo gives good wood, and whether the same can actually be better. I just love to stroke the knob. I'll also drive it to evaluate its performance, and at the end, we will know if Volvo have perfected the family SUV, and if I finally perfected the video car review. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. The XC60 has a great interior. It looks wonderful and it feels fabulous. The one I had in 2017 had the light leather and I loved it. I would go for that. Unless of course you've got dogs or kids or worst of all both, then this black does make more sense. The design is not as edgy or futuristic as the latest BMWs and Audis, but to tell you the truth, I prefer it. I especially like the wood bits. Oh yeah, touch of open pore wood. Volvo gives good wood. The seats, they deserve a special mention as well. They are first class. Along with Lexus, Volvo does the best seats in the business, and that's a fact I will not have it disputed. Now this is the range-topping Ultra version, so the seats, they're heated, they are cooled, and we've also got, look at this, a massage function there with all these different settings. And it does sort of feel like a massage, albeit one from a slightly arthritic masseuse. But that's the case with car massaging seats, never that great. Anyhow, the steering wheel feels expensive and the controls are nicely damped. In fact, the heated steering wheel doesn't just get warm, it gets hot. You can tell this is a car designed by a Scandinavian company, blooming gold in Sweden right now, I can tell you. Now the quality of the rest of the materials, all very lovely. It's even squidgy on the door bins. The only thing that feels a bit cheap is this, look, the glove box cover. That's the only thing. Overall though, I think that the quality in here is better than the latest German equivalents, and that's because they've actually got cheaper on the inside, whereas this Volvo basically hasn't changed. Who'd have thought 2017 quality would be better than 2026 quality? Hopefully you don't think the same about these reviews. Be kind in the comments. However, there are some things that I'm still doing in reviews that I did way before I even joined Carwow. That's right, shoving bottles into cubbies to test practicality. Let's see how this XC60 measures up. The best thing about this car's interior for me though is the knob, because I just love to stroke it. Look, it's glass. It feels class. Now you get it on all but the entry-level car, though to be fair, once again, that is the same as it ever was. However, there is something about this XC60's interior that has changed, and it's quite significant. The infotainment screen is all new. It's bigger and better than before and has some key updates. For instance, you've got 21% better pixel density, so things just look sharper. Also, the processor behind it operates at twice the speed and can handle graphics at 10 times the speed. Look, that's quite whizzy, isn't it? Now, all the car's functions are still controlled through this screen. You do have some shortcuts here for your volume and stuff like that, and your window demist, but your climate's always here. But it's easy access, to be fair. It's not too difficult to operate, and you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, though it's wired. Which begs the question, why have you gone and fitted wireless charging for your mobile phone? Because ultimately you're going to be plugged in with your phone to use that, and it's going to be in here with the USB connector. Anyhow, there are some features in here that I do really like, and one of the updates they've done is made these icons bigger, so they're just much easier to operate. So you can go into the driving and you can change different things, such as all these like lane keeping aid, and turn off that stuff, all the safety things, and beeping when you're going over the speed limit. I wish there were shortcut buttons on the steering wheel, but there don't appear to be. That's one thing I definitely prefer about the original XC60 I had in 2017. None of these annoying aids which are just a faff to turn off. However, there is one feature that you had on that car that's still on this car. It's really cool actually. This button there allows you to fold the rear headrest down. So the idea is that obviously if you want to see over your shoulder, you can knock them down, makes it easier. However, you can use it to annoy your rear passengers or maybe chastise them if they're doing your head in a little. I'll show you now. Nick, can you just come in? Just have a seat, will you, mate? That's it, you just have a little seat. How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Oh, are you really? Okay, you sure?
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, get out again. Also, there's some other quick controls here that I like. So there's creep function, so you can allow the car to creep forward like a normal automatic, or turn it off so it just stays still when you lift off the accelerator. And we do have a shortcut here for lane keeping aid, but you do still have to go through the menu on the screen to activate that. One other feature I do like is this. If I go into controls, I'm just going to jump over to the side because, Nick, can I borrow you again, please, mate? Would you mind just swapping places with me? So if I scan down, look at this, I can then adjust the passenger seat with my seat controls. There we go.
Oh.
You're quite tall, aren't you, Nick?
Yeah, well, not for long. Oh, ow, yeah.
Are you all right?
Oh, it's getting worse. Yeah.
I feel like I think Nick would very much like to punch me right now.
I can't.
So we're going to play a little game now, Nick. Can you get out the car? Or are you now my prisoner forever? See if you can get out. That's it. What's that like? Don't hurt yourself. Okay. I think Nick did a real good job there of hamming it up. That was perfect. Thank you, Nick. Well, that's all a bit of fun. The big question is though, what exactly has Volvo done to the outside of this car to make sure it just doesn't look exactly the same as the XC60 from 9 years ago? Volvo has actually changed very little about the XC60's design. Unlike the Germans, the Japanese and the Koreans that do make quite radical changes to their cars as part of a midlife update, Volvo doesn't. It's as if they get it right first time. The only thing that's actually changed is this grille. It used to look like this. Actually, before that, it looked like that. And now it looks like this. So they've gone from vertical slats to kind of diagonally ones. Everything else though, the lights, the bumpers, all the same. Now you can get slightly different trim. So there's the Pro and Pro Plus, or is that Plus Pro? Pro Plus is actually a tablet. Anyway, there's those versions which are slightly sporty and then they have black rather than silver grills. Meanwhile at the side they've removed the chrome part, and at the back they say they've made the tail lights slightly darker. Though I think it might only just be this bit, hard to tell. In fact, the only real way to tell whether it's a new car is the registration plate. However, Volvo has given you a few extra customization options you didn't get on the old car. There's new wheels ranging from 18 to 22 inches, new colours, Mulberry Red, which is basically a burgundy from the flagship XC90, and two other colours, Forest Lake and Aurora Silver. Or you can murder out your Volvo with the Black Edition, which has black paint, black window trims and unique black alloy wheels. Regardless of which version you go for, no model comes with any of that horrible like plastic cladding down the side, and as a result the entry-level version of the XC60 just looks posher than the entry-level versions of a BMW X3 and an Audi Q5. You know, I really like that vibe about Volvo. They don't deliberately make the base car look less appealing so you end up spending more on a higher trim level, and that kind of honesty just extends to the engines. Every Volvo XC60 is a proper SUV. Every version of this has all-wheel drive. They also come with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. In terms of the engines, got a bit of bad news if you like diesel. You can't get the diesel version anymore. All of them are either petrol or hybrids. So the range starts off with a B5. It's a 2-litre turbo petrol, 250 horsepower. Incidentally, the German entry-level cars start from under 210 horsepower. Go Volvo! Then there is the hybrid T6, which has 350 horsepower, uses the same engine as the B5, but with an electric motor and a battery to boost performance. And then there's this one, the T8, same kind of setup, but with even more power, 455 horsepower. Wow! Now Volvo says that this hybrid should be able to do 50 miles on electric power alone and a combined 282 miles per gallon. Trying to achieve those kind of numbers in the real world, no chance. In fact, do you want to see what this car is actually averaging in my hands? Now the dials are exactly the same as before, so I think I know how to work this. Press that button. Look! We're averaging 17 miles per gallon over 73 miles. I think part of the problem is that we have been using the petrol motor to charge the battery, and we've been driving it a little bit hard for some of our filming. I guess at least this car is quick. Shall we find out how quick? Let's see how fast this thing is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. I've got my specialist timing gear here. I'm going to launch the car. I'm in the sportiest setting. Left foot on the brake. Oh, wait, it wants to push through its brakes. Left foot on the brake harder. Build up boost. Go. Oh, it's motoring. Whoa, what's it going to be? Oh, 5.17. It had a bit of a like hiccup when it lost traction. I've got an idea. I'm going to do it different. I'm not going to brake boost. I'm just going to floor it. 3, 2, 1, go. That's better, 4.89 seconds. Thing is though, that's a little bit at odds with what Volvo is famous for. Volvo is a byword for safety. Back in 1959, they invented the 3-point seatbelt, but they didn't patent it so that every other car manufacturer could use it, so that lives could be saved. However, there's nothing quite so radical about this car, but Volvo has made some important changes. You see, you can now get the XC60 with an upgraded version of the normal driver monitoring system. So the standard one just does like beeps and bongs at you if it thinks you're falling asleep. However, the upgraded version will actually pull over to the side of the road safely if you're unresponsive. But if in the T8 version of this car, it's unlikely that you're going to suddenly fall asleep in this thing because it's just so blooming quick. Thing is though, while it is quick, how well does it stop? You see, the hybrid versions of the XC60 are 250 kilos heavier than the normal petrol version. They actually weigh in at 2,150 kilos. So let's see how good this car is at stopping from 60 miles an hour. Here we go. Looking for around 35 meters. What will it be? 3, 2, 1. Gosh, I've got the seatbelt pulling me in like a crazy thing. Oh, the brake pedal felt really hard and weird. That's terrible. 45 meters? Maybe I didn't hit the pedal hard enough because it just felt weird. I'll try that again. There we go, let's go up to 60. How will it cope with these slightly grimy roads? 3, 2, 1, coming in hot now. 43 meters. I'll give it one more go, just a bit further down the road. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's the same, it just feels weird braking. 44 meters. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try one more time. It's like the brake pedal feels a bit like wooden, like it's not really working. It's dry here. No, it's just... Volvo, you can't say I've not tried, but that's some of the worst brake test results I've ever had. In fact, I was so surprised by this result, I decided to repeat the test in our camera car. Here we go. 60 mile an hour brake test in a 20-year-old Porsche Cayenne Turbo. Similar bit of road that I did the second brake test on. This Porsche took a whopping 59 metres to stop from 60 miles an hour. That's 16 metres further than the best distance I managed in the Volvo. And then I realised why these results might be worse than usual. Do you know what it is? There has been tractors along this road and there's bits of mud over it. You can't really see it, but there is bits of mud on it, and that has affected the braking performance. I take it all back. That figure from the Volvo, based on the performance of this car, is a huge improvement. And this, yes, it's an old vehicle, but it has had new brakes fitted to it. I know which out of the two vehicles my family would now rather travel in, well, in terms of safety, but what about in terms of comfort? I've always found the Volvo XC60 as a good car for rear passengers. So thankfully, Volvo hasn't changed anything back here at all. Give you a quick rundown. So knee room's good, headroom's good. Foot space, those runners do get in the way of your feet a bit, but you can stretch out underneath the seat in front. And the seating position is very comfy. Now you can't slide it forwards and backwards or recline the backrest like you can in an Audi Q5. And if you want to see my review of that car, you can just click on the pop-out banner, scan the QR code on screen, or follow the link in the description of this video. But overall, it's still very, very good. When it comes to carrying 3 people in the back at once, well, I find this middle seat actually quite comfy, but let's try it with 3 blokes in the back. Come on, let's see what it's like for shoulder room. Oh, there is obviously this big hump in the floor, which I just had to straddle. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, okay.
So shoulder room's a little bit snug, but we're all kind of like layered up. Shortest distances, absolutely fine. And like I said, this middle seat is surprisingly comfy. Do you want to exit now? You can get out, okay. Now, when it comes to fitting a baby seat, the ISOFIX angle points are really easy to get to. However, when you first fit the seat, the rear doors don't open that wide, and so it's a bit of a manoeuvre to get the baby seat into place, but then there's plenty of room back here for even a bulky rear-facing seat. That clip was actually on the pre-facelifted version of the car, but like I said, nothing has changed at all. And overall, the interior of this car feels much better put together than some other things you might get from a Swedish manufacturer. Anyway, not everything about this car though that makes the interior nice is standard, I'm afraid. The wonderful opening panoramic glass roof, it's only standard on the Ultra version, otherwise you have to pay an extra 1,200 quid for it. Then there's the rear heated seats and steering wheel and heated screen, standard on all cars apart from the entry level model, and if you want it, it's the climate pack, which is about 750 quid. If you want the Napa leather, you can only have it on the top 2 specs. It's not available as an option. Neither are the upgraded stereos, the Harman Kardon and then this lovely Bowes & Wilkins walk-ins, which is only available on the top spec car. I don't know why manufacturers do that. Why don't they like let you mix and match some options and stuff anymore? You know, like with a pizza. You can do it with a pizza, can't you? But not seemingly with a car, which means that you end up having to spend more on things that you don't want just to get some things you do want. However, to be fair, comparatively speaking, this Volvo is reasonably good value. At first glance, the range starts from a lower price than the equivalent BMW X3 and Audi Q5. However, things aren't all that they seem, because what matters is the price that you actually pay at a dealer. And currently, you can get these discounts on an Audi Q5 and BMW X3. And there's not a carwow discount on the XC60 at the moment, though that could change. So whatever happens, when you're thinking about getting your next car, you should check out carwow to see what offers are available to make sure you're paying a fair price. But there is an alternative you can do. Rather than buy, you could choose to lease the car. And these are the 3-year lease deals. This is how much it will cost you for the entry-level car over that period. Interestingly, the cheapest lease deal actually works out less than the amount an XC60 is expected to depreciate over 3 years. So that means leasing could actually work out cheaper than buying the car outright and then selling it later on. Oh, it's all a bit confusing, isn't it? That's why you definitely need to go to carwow for help. And we've set up a dedicated page on this Volvo so you can find out exactly what offers are available on new cars, lease deals and used cars. Speaking of which, unless you really want a new car, the best way to save some money is to go for a used car. For example, here is a 1-year-old T8 Ultra of the pre-facelift version I found on carwow. It's up for £44,000, so less expensive than the entry-level new version. However, there's always a risk with buying a car used, and that is you don't know what the past is. And that's why it's worth doing a car vertical history check. Obviously, we did a check on the used one on carwow and it came back clean. But here's a car vertical report for an XC60 that didn't come back clean. Oh dear. Yes, you wouldn't want to be buying that car. So if you're thinking about buying a used vehicle, make sure you do a car vertical history check and use the code carwow for 20% off. There's a link in the description of this video as well. And to be brutally honest, unless you want to be the first owner on the car's logbook, then really nothing has changed in how the XC60 drives. You don't expect a Volvo to deliver a sporty drive, but this one bizarrely kind of does. It's because this T8 just has so much power that you can absolutely hoon it down a back road. Now the adaptive suspension on this car is now in the sportiest setting because I'm in the power mode, so it stiffens things up a bit. You do get a little bit of lean in the corners, but it just grips and goes around so well. And then you get excellent traction from the 4-wheel drive system to like rocket you out the bends. Obviously all cars get 4-wheel drive as standard, and the 8-speed automatic gearbox is pretty decent at changing gears too. Do you know what? I don't think the steering, like, it's a little bit vague, and the brakes don't have so much feel to them as the controls, say, in the Audi Q5 and the BMW X3. Maybe they corner a bit flatter, but not enough to make a big difference, especially not at road legal speeds. And I tell you what, you can humiliate some boy racers in their hot hatches in this car down a country back road. It's surprisingly quick. Whoa! I'm in a Volvo! Volvo shouldn't do this! Hopefully it can also drive well where you expect a Volvo to drive well. I love that feature there. See that? Because we've got Google Maps in the Android system for the car's infotainment screen, you have speed camera recognition. Look, there's a speed camera, there's my sign warning me. Hey, thank you Volvo, keeping me safe from fines. Love it. I can relax and drive this car in more ways than one, knowing that I've got speed cameras, well, static speed cameras covered, but also because it is a very chilled car to just do distance in. So it's generally really comfy. You get a little bit of wind noise at speed from the big door mirrors and a little bit of road noise, but other than that, it's really good. Maybe not as quiet as a Lexus NX. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner or scan the QR code on screen now. Plus there's a link in the description of this video. But by and by, overall, it's a really chilled ride. And at the moment, I'm just driving on electric power alone, though that's not going to be for long because my battery is soon to run out. The Volvo XC60 is actually a really good car to daily and drive around very crowded village streets, perfect for the school run. You sit up high, you've got a good view out, visibility around it is amazing. The suspension as well is really nice and smooth, especially this car. The car's also good over bumps. Well, this Ultra version is, because it comes with air suspension as standard. You can't get that at all on the entry-level car, but for other versions you can get it as an option, and it's well worth having because it makes the car like feel a little bit posher than without it. It just glides down the road nicely. I tell you what else as well, the hybrid system works well here. Cruising along in electric mode, and when the petrol engine does kick in, you hardly blooming notice it. Super smooth. You can see why posh mums like these cars to take their kids to school, because they want something that's, you know, feels luxurious, looks desirable, but isn't as showy as a Range Rover. But they don't want some Volkswagen because it's too much of a people's car. There's another thing that makes this car easy to drive. The turning circle is 11.4 meters, which is better than its competitors. And all I have to do is press this button here, and I have surround view cameras, which will help me out. Oh, can I make it round? I don't think I'm going to make it round here, but I can get blooming close. Look, thanks to those cameras. Whee! And the picture on them is really good as well. Now that system is standard on all but the entry-level car, and on the entry-level car it's just a £600 option, which isn't bad at all, and vital when you're manoeuvring at the school gates so that you don't accidentally run over someone else's child. That'd be a bit awkward, wouldn't it? However, to be a success, the Volvo XC60 doesn't just need to be good for the school run, it needs to be good for ferrying your family about to see all your relatives too. The Volvo XC60 has a decent boot. It's got numerous features that just help make your life a bit easier. The first is this. The power tailgate does open quite high, higher than on quite a lot of other cars, so even an average sized person, like, you can stand underneath that bit without banging your head. I wonder if you can fit under there, Nick. Might be something to do with the Scandinavian thing. Yeah, so just about okay. Another feature that's quite handy, look, there's no load lip to lift stuff over when you're loading up, which is good. Also, the pulse shock can do this, like, you can just do this and slide it up there, or put it all the way back, depending on what you're wanting to do. You have 12-volt socket here, you have nettage there, you have some features here that can raise the suspension. You've got the air suspension to make it higher or lower it. This car has the optional tow bar fitted, so you just press that, wait a second, and it'll flop out. There we go. Then you have to lock it into place with your hand, and then to put it away again, press the button to release it. Come on, there we go, and put it away. You have a little bit of through loading here, and look, when you fold down the rear seats, you'll notice that they lie completely flat. One slight issue is that there's nowhere to put the parcel shelf underneath this boot floor. Now I'm going to put that back. So there's another thing that might put you off this car, because when you look at the numbers, the boot capacity isn't quite as good as the Germans. So Audi Q5, 520 litres. BMW X3 boot capacity, 570 litres. Mercedes GLC, 620 litres. This Volvo, 480 litres. However, that doesn't tell the whole story. You see, when it comes to the hybrid version of this car, it's 15 litres smaller, the boot, but on the Germans, this is what happens to their boot capacities. And that matters. It's as though the Swedes somehow figured out how to put all the battery and electrical gubbins into the car much better than the Germans have. But what matters anyway is how practical the boot is in real terms. So to find out, I'm going to do the suitcase test. Here goes. That's 9. I might give it some assistance. Done. That's good. Not everything is though. Here's some annoying things about the Volvo XC60. The height this bonnet opens to makes me feel like a bit of a short person. Look, I'm gonna get really self-conscious. Nick, can you do it please, mate? To be fair, it's even a stretch for him. Look, go on. There we go. In the XC60 I reviewed a couple of years ago, the rear armrest had hidden cup holders. They've gone. Now you have exposed ones. It's obviously cheaper to do that. They're not quite so good. This Volvo lies. Speedo says a maximum speed of 130 miles an hour. However, every Volvo is limited to 112 miles an hour. That's 180 kilometers an hour, by the way. You can't adjust the front headrests at all. Volvo has decided that you're having them like this, and that is the end of the discussion. Tell you the truth though, all those negatives, they're not enough to put me off this car, because I believe this is the best version of the XC60 Volvo has ever made. They've done a really smart thing here by changing a few things that needed to be changed, like the infotainment screen, but they've left everything else that worked exactly as it was. You see, sometimes progress, or too much, isn't always a good thing. And hopefully you think the same about these video reviews. Let me know in the comments below. And I'll let you know what I think is the ideal trim and engine combination of the XC60, because I've configured it through carwow. To find out what that car is, click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or scan the QR code on screen now. There's also a link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.